Node 564560 connected to node 564562.
WU7N, end of test.
WU7N, end of test.
WU7N, here's K9PQ. Heard you loud and clear.
Thank you, Bob. WU7N.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. We transmit on 70 centimeters to a crossband repeater on Cougar Mountain and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about our group, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll see the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on, and also you'll find a link to YouTube where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we simulcast our audio on our sister station WW7STR 147.08 with a tone of 103.5, referred to the 08 machine. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has an emergency traffic or needs needed contact in the next couple of minutes till our net gets fully underway. Welcome back to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. So far checked in by video link is Ron, KD7QKU, Lee, N7KC, Bob, K9PQ, Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, Carlos, AD7NP, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYN. Does anybody else wish to check in? Hearing none, we'll get the net rolling and start off with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave. Good evening, everyone. This is KD7QKU in North Tacoma. Well, I guess the big talk, of course, is the rain and flooding and storm, everything that we've had. So we can't hear it rain in this house, and we can't hear the wind in this house, so I never know what's going on outside. But in the first rainstorm we had for about 3 days, I had 5.50 inches, and then in the last 2 days I've had 2.35 inches. So we've had almost 8 inches of rain in a short period of time, more than they measure at the SeaTac airport. But as far as the wind goes, I walked around the neighborhood and I didn't see any damage, maybe a garbage can blown over or something, maybe a few limbs, little limbs, but nothing big. But then we went down to get groceries. We drove down Pearl Street, and there were some pretty good-sized limbs that had come down on a couple of the trees. So, and then my son lives on the Key Peninsula. He didn't lose power, electricity, which is really strange, and he had a couple of trees, small trees. Well, he sent me a picture when it looked small, probably 12 inches in diameter, alder or something that blew over. So he said he kind of had a mess to clean up. So that's about what's going on here. I had the urge to take the Corvette out for a ride today, but I didn't do it. I've been thinking about it lately. I haven't driven it for about a month, I don't think. So, anyway, back to net. Okay. Oh, one more thing. Let me let it drop. I don't know if I mentioned this before or not. Mike had a commemorative Mustang that he bought. Gee, many Christmas. What was it? It was dark green. They made a movie, and it was numbered. I don't know how many of them are made. Not too many, but anyway, he bought one brand new quite a while ago. And anyway, he sold it, and I was really surprised that he sold it because it's a real collector's item. It was stolen once, and he saw it for sale, and he could identify it by the number of the car, and he called the guy that had it, and he was a collector back on the East Coast, and he'd bought it at auction. So after it had been stolen, I guess it had been recovered someplace. So anyway, he bought it back, and so it had, I think it had 13,000 miles on it when he got it back. I don't know how many it had on it when it was stolen. But anyway, so he had it for quite a few years, and then he put it up for sale, and somebody bought it from Olympia right away. So I think he sold it too cheap. But anyway, so then he went out and found another one. He found a 302 Boss. It's a 2013. There was only 3,000 of them made. It's about 550 horsepower, a 6-speed transmission. He says there's only 6 of them in the state of Washington, and he thinks his is one of them. So there's not very many of them either. They only made them for 2 years. They made them 2012 and 2013, and he claims the best one is 2013. And it's kind of interesting because I like to look at Jay Leno, and Jay Leno's got one. Of course, he's got the biggest and the best that was made that year, and he claims. So it's sort of a race car. So the suspension will go in 3 different positions, and it has big brakes on it. I don't know what all, different rear end in it. So you could actually put it on the track and run it around. So it's more than just a passenger car. So anyway, he was thrilled to find it's red, bright red. His other one was green. So that's enough from here. KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks with that. Let's move on to Lee N7KC in Port Angeles. What say you, Lee?
Okay, got my call sign up there on the stream. So there we go. Well, good evening, all. This is N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles. We had a little over 1.7 inches of rain last night. That's a miracle. That's really something. And we had some wind. We lost our power twice. The first time was 2.5 hours. It was about 12:45. Well, 45 minutes after midnight. It was off for 2.5 hours, and we had a lot of wind. And being it was dark, we couldn't really tell just how severe it was. Made a lot of noise, and we've got some really big trees, and I mean big trees, 100-footers right by the house. And so we decided maybe we would just leave the house. So we went out and got in the car out on the driveway, which is far enough from the trees that I don't think they could harm us, and so forth. And we just took a nap out there till the power came back on the first time. And the second time we were in the house and I didn't even know it went off, but it did. Ah, very good. Well, I've been gimping around here. Yesterday morning I went to get into the car. I put my right foot in and I felt this little twinge in my back, and I knew, that's not good. So I'm getting around pretty good today, but yesterday was miserable. Ron, yes, Mustangs. Yes. I used to have a really good friend. He's gone now. Died, I don't know, 12 years ago, maybe something like that. But anyway, he was really into Mustangs, old Mustangs. And so back in probably middle 70s, probably, he had a beautiful Mustang, and he and his wife and Paul and I wanted to go over to Ballard to some musical function, some country music thing over there. And we go over, and we're parking under a street light. And Lonnie was very careful with how he parked his car and all that sort of stuff. So we went to the musical thing, and we come out, and someone had stole his hood. They took it right off the car, right there right under a street light, and he was fit to be tied. You know. Anyway, so some not, it was a nice car, nice hood. Somebody needed a part, so they just took it. Anyway, gosh, what else is going on here? The river's been pretty high here. Um, we're supposed to get some snow, I think, up in the Olympics, which would be really good because that's where we get our water now in the summertime. And it's been pretty warm here. We're in the 50s to mid 50s pretty near every day, and no frost, no freeze yet, or anything like that. So anyway, I good to see you all, and I'm going to stay here until maybe the half hour, and then I gotta move along. So anyway, back to you, Dave. This is N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles.
N7KC, thanks with that. And get a quick ID here. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's move on to Bob, K9PQ.
Hey everybody, good evening to everyone. This is Bob, K9PQ, and I certainly have weather news as well, but I'm going to lead with my home news because I have big news. Tomorrow is signing day. Finally. I already signed the papers on the Oak Harbor condo. It's just waiting for the money to come in. Tomorrow is the signing day on the refinance of my condo in Bothell, which is going to allow me to buy the Oak Harbor place with cash. So I'm going to go into the title place, and one nice thing is they're going to wire the money directly to the title company for the Oak Harbor place, so they'll pay that off directly and then just send the rest to my account. It's actually happening. Tomorrow is the signing, and we're trying to get it early enough in the day so they can wire the money. Here's something I didn't know. My agent told me this because she was saying, be sure to get it in the morning if you can, because any wired money, if it's actually like wiring, like old-fashioned, when you wire from one bank to another, or what like that, it goes through the East Coast, and they stop at 5 o'clock p.m. because, hey, their day is done, right? So the banks here can't wire money after 2 p.m. So really hoping to get a morning signing so they have a chance to get all the money out. But regardless, I would say probably not likely I'll get the keys tomorrow. If I'm lucky, maybe I will, but Friday's much more likely that I'll get the keys. So very exciting news. As for my weather news, kind of exciting there too. I was down at Fort Casey, and the campground at Fort Casey is about just a few feet above the high tide line, basically the driftwood line. And it's flat, it's very flat, right next to the ferry terminal that goes to Port Townsend. And we had tremendous wind, lots and lots of wind, because it was coming right up the straits and coming and hitting us head on. It was loud, and it shook the trailer some, not badly, but enough just to be unsettling. But last night, yesterday afternoon, in fact, the ranger came around and knocked on my door and said, hey, we have a chance of coastal flooding, and we recommend you move to higher ground. We've got we've opened up the day use recreation area, the picnic area, and you can just use the parking lot there for your RV, which is what I did. I don't know if everybody did. I noticed a number of vehicles around. I was the first one out. One reason is just I decided to go right away, and also it's very easy for me to get myself. It's a less than a half-hour job for me to get on the road after I from like just normal living, I can get everything packed up and on the road very quickly. Yeah, so last night I stayed up there, and the one benefit was there's a big stand of trees up there, and they between, upwind from me, and I was far enough away I wasn't worried about any of them falling on me, but it broke the wind, and I had my calmest night of the entire time I was down there. I mean, I was being buffeted the whole time, but it was very calm. And it's been kind of interesting since last Wednesday. Lots of weather news and then lots of home news. So I think that's good to start with. I'll send it back, K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks with that. Let's pick up Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, well, that is really great news, Bob. Very great. So happy to see things are starting to button up, and you'll be moving in before we know it. So that's really great news. Yeah, that's a cool story, Ron, about your son Mike and his all the hot rods he's had. I think the closest thing I've ever had to having a hot rod is the Mustang Mach-E that I have today. It's got a lot of torque and horsepower. It goes a lot faster than it needs to. Let me put it that way. And Lee, God dang, it got to the point where you had to get in your car because you were worried about the trees hitting your house. That's pretty crazy. Sheesh. I can't really report anything that exciting. I think I told you about the first round of rain and knocked down a 30-year-old tree. Wait a minute. I did. Debbie reported that my elk log periodic antenna, which was propped up against the side of the house, got blown over. So I've got to check that out now. I haven't had a chance to get it up and running since we had the deck remodeled. So hopefully it's okay. So with that, great to hear everybody so far. This is K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks with that. Let's go to Jim in Covington, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, I am not receiving the television repeater very well tonight. I got several pictures on everyone who's sending pictures. It seems to work for maybe 4 seconds and then freezes for maybe 10 seconds or something like that. Must be more intermittent than that, because it seems like I'm only seeing pictures like Ron and Lee. I saw about 3 or 4 still pictures from each of you, but I'm seeing something anyway. Well, Ron, yeah, good story. Boss 302.
My father had a Mustang. I want to say it was like 1970 vintage, if I'm not mistaken. And I did get to drive it occasionally. It was nothing special, nothing unique. It actually had the smallest engine you could
get in it. he got that for good fuel economy. It was an inline 6, and it was okay for that vehicle, as long as he didn't have to go up any steep hills. But it worked okay. Lee, glad that you got a little rain there. Sorry about the power, and yeah, I guess all of us have had wind. I know I can hear it raining in my house depending upon the direction from which the rain is coming, and it was certainly beating against one side of the house and windows on one side of the house, and the wind was really howling at one time during the middle of the night. But otherwise, I did not have any damage at my house. Let's see, Lee, stolen hood. Yeah, who would have thought? That's pretty pathetic. Bob, congratulations on the house there, the signing, the refi. And I was worried about you a little bit. You were saying something about Coopville. I know Fort Casey, but you said Coopville. They said something on television about a large area in the vicinity of Coopville went without electricity for some period of time. And I was thinking about you losing your electric heater. So I thought, well, I'm glad you've got a bunch of propane on board anyway. But glad that everything seemed to work out there. Dick, good to hear from you. And back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
In 7QO, thanks for that. And let's move on to James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
Well, thank you, Dave. I'm going to go ahead and start up OBS. Stand by one, please. WU7N. WU7N testing 1 2 3 4. Okay, well I thought I'd try to do a camera flip here and show. Is this going to work? I'm not sure. All right. Okay, so right now what you're seeing is the screen that I see. And with the two lights I use for backlighting, thought that'd be something a little different. Looks like it's freezing up. There it is right there on my screen. So this is James WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. And I guess it doesn't do the screen within the screen trick. I was trying to see if I could get it to do that, but apparently it doesn't do that. So I'm going to do an audio test here and see if I'm coming through. Okay, that's still coming through. Well, anyway, let's see. Ron, 8 inches of rain. That is amazing. And I had heard it was a pretty massive amount of rain. Today I volunteered at the King County Operations Center. And it was very, very educational. And also very sobering. I will never again buy a house until I check the floodplains, and preferably if I ever buy any more residential property, it'll be up on the highest hill or one of the highest hills in the neighborhood, because my goodness, I guess some people really didn't have much time to get out. But amazingly, I guess because they have been so good at getting the word out for evacuations, and people have been doing what they're being asked to do, that there's only been one death, at least as of today, one death, and many, many rescues, but only one death. So, Lee, it sounds like the only two things in your up where you live is either pouring rain or blistering drought. I'd heard the freezing level was supposed to come down to 2,000 feet in the next few days. So maybe that'll help you out for your summer. Bob, exciting news, signing day. I did hear something the other day that a man was going to make a movie about his RV. I don't know if you'd ever want to see that movie, but you certainly want to see the trailer. Okay, ba-boom, boom, okay. Anyway, I'm glad you were not washed out to sea and you got to a parking lot on higher ground. I guess if you have high winds blowing your trailer around, would you call that that blew your vacation? I don't know if that's the correct term or not. Anyway, Richard, glad to hear you tonight as always. And Jim, well, you can hear rain on one side of the house but not the other. That is a pretty strong wind out there in Covington. So glad there was no major damage out there. I'll be thrilled if we get through the next week without my Christmas decorations being blown away. So anyway, well, I will say that the time doing volunteer work at the King County Operations Center was really interesting. What I did was I answered the phone and used a product called Web EOC to create basically what I would call a ticket. Although it was interesting, they didn't call them that. I kept asking, well, what do you call this entity that you create in a database and pass around to the various areas under the ICS model? And I never really got an answer to that. So I'm going to call them tickets, but you would put in what the person wanted and how to get in touch with them and all that good stuff, and then what they were trying to accomplish. So it was very interesting. Learned a lot and maybe made some sort of small contribution. I don't know. But so that was my day today, pretty much the entire day, and they might call me back on Friday, don't know. It seemed like they had more storm and flood related activity than they could handle. What was it, Monday or Tuesday, whenever that dike broke on the Green River. A levee broke on the Green River, I guess is what it's called. But then I think by the time they were asking for volunteers, it had all calmed down. So it was actually fairly calm, but they certainly served us a wonderful hamburger for lunch. And so how can you complain about that? Well, this is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. I'm going to go ahead and push the big stop button right now.
WU7N, thanks with that. And let's go pick up Carlos, 87NP in Clyde Hill. What say you, Carlos?
Oops, wrong video. Let's switch the cameras. Good evening, everyone. 87NP here in Clyde Hill. It's a good moment to enjoy the fact that it's on a hill and water has to follow gravity rather than staying on a hill. But there's definitely been a lot of water, that's for sure. So a couple of notes that I took here. I see that Ron's family is extending the car collection family. This must be the inspiration of the car museum that you have so close to you, and looking forward, next time I'll go to the car museum, I'll stop by your place and check that lineup of cars there. Lee, I have the property where I've rebuilt this house also had some very large trees that we removed at the time. The next door neighbor still has all those large trees, and so whenever I see the wind, they do seem to lean a little bit into my side. So at some point in time there will be an interesting insurance discussion about it, I'm sure. But for now, in fact, I was looking at, I have a camera pointed at my antennas, and every time there is a motion detection, it will generate a recording. But I was looking at the different recordings, and there was nothing much. Bob, hopefully you saw the picture. I've already anticipated your moment. I'm going to put it here on the stream. I've anticipated Bob signing the contract tomorrow. I've asked Copilot to generate of Copilot's signature by just putting something that looks like you. So that's the big moment. In case you don't have cameras tomorrow, we have captured the moment already using Gen AI. On Jim, regarding the TV repeater, it does seem to be. I'm receiving a good stable image today, so whatever wind or water is flowing, it's not causing much interference here, and it seems quite stable image that I'm getting from the TV repeater, and from what I could see on the stream was also doing a good job. But again, mileage can always vary, of course, depending on the conditions, and this bad weather is never great. And James, thanks for kind of generating tickets at the King County emergency. Fortunately, these were not traffic tickets, and so that's a good participation there. And we did capture your picture-in-picture image there, so everything came true. I did find some of the images of the, let me see if I can show them here as I position about the Washington floods. Let me see if I can put it here on the screen. And about the impact, this one comes from YouTube. And let me see if I can just skip to the. So quite an impact from that levee bridge, for sure. It's always really a bad situation, of course, for everyone impacted. And hopefully the helping systems in Washington State were able to provide help, but the whole damage that comes with it and everything else is always kind of super impactful. It's always kind of problematic when we get to this situation. So I'll send it back to Dave, Net Control, and I will tell some more about some radio activities and new projects that I've been working on the next one. Back to you, Dave, from 87 NP in Clyde Hill.
'87 NP, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM, beautiful dry Lake City. I don't know where the lake came from in the name, but it's certainly dry in my area of Lake City. There was a gully washer that came through about 1 o'clock, woke me up 1:30 last night with the rain pelting off the bedroom windows. But when I checked, it was only about a half inch of rain came down, but I think it did it in about a half hour. When I got up today, the streets were pretty well cleared away. Got a safety barrier around my house of leaves that I haven't raked up, so I know that's what protected the house, was the levee of leaves. But outside of that, everything was fine. But I did get off to Costco, and I tried one of their prepared foods, their prepared enchiladas, and boy, I'll give them a 5 out of 5 rating. It was a pretty good meal. A lot of Costco chicken was in the enchiladas, just loaded. And spice-wise, they medium heat. It wasn't hot. It wasn't over mild, but it was It had a little bite to it, but it was pretty good. I enjoyed that. And then at home, I just had some things I had to do around the house. It was nice and dry inside. Enjoyed that. And I did get out to buy a ticket for the lottery, and so we'll have to see what that works for tomorrow. I always refer to it as my donation rather than buying a ticket for a lottery. So this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and I'll move it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Hey, this is Ron, KD7QKU, over here in North Tacoma. Bob, that's good news. And the picture that Carlos generated is good. I like that. I thought it was real good. Dave mentioned chicken enchiladas. So Saturday night, I wasn't on the net. We were over at Joanne's sister's house. Everybody was over there. I don't know. They wanted everybody to come over. So basically what they did is they made cookies, and we decorated cookies. So everybody, other than the people that were baking, sat around the table and decorated Christmas cookies. Ate a few, the broken ones. So anyway, we had a pretty good time. And she made, for dinner, she made chicken enchiladas or whatever they're called. Oh man, were they good. They're not, she doesn't make things very hot, so they weren't very hot. They could have used a little more heat. But the flavor was really, really good. I think Joanne needs to get that recipe from her. She, baked them in a big, I guess it would be a glass. I can't say the name of the glass, but anyway, it was a glass, big rectangular pans, so there was enough for everybody. And then she had guacamole, and she had the chips and salsa, and I don't know what else. And I think we had ice cream for dessert, but it was good. So this morning at breakfast, Joanne told me that the filter in our refrigerator, so our refrigerator puts out ice and water, and she said the light lit up that said the filter needs to be replaced. So I said, okay. So I have bought them before from Amazon, and I buy the kind of the real ones. They're expensive, unfortunately, but I don't buy the ones that just have nutshells in them or something that might filter out some mud or rocks. I buy good ones, and like I say, there's so anyway. It was about, I don't know, we were eating breakfast about 9 o'clock, 8:30, and so I got out my phone and I just reordered it because I've ordered it before, and lo and behold, they've already delivered it today. I said that on my phone they said they would deliver it today between 5 and 10, and so before I came in here, I opened the front door, and there it laid on the front steps. So. And it was in a brown envelope, so it was hard to see. It was even hard for me to see. Usually they're in those white envelopes, but it was brown, so that was good. I guess that's about it. My picture is kind of intermittent. It's usually a little intermittent on the TV. And I have my iPad, so I have the streaming on my iPad, so I see everything okay. It was too bad when Lee was talking about that guy's Mustang. I wonder, some of those Mustangs, had a tack in the hood, a tachometer, and some of them had, scoops on the hood. So I wonder if his had an exceptionally nice hood that somebody wanted. Yeah, that's too bad. When I put my Mustang together, I had a hard time finding a hood, and the worst thing I had looked for was a back seat, and I could never find a Mustang back seat. I had to get a Cougar back seat, and I paid I think $300 for it, and it was just springs, and I had to have it upholstered. So I probably had $400 in the back seat. It's amazing that stuff is so expensive. So anyway, enough over here, I guess. It's nice always to see everybody and hear what's going on. I'm glad no one suffered any bad damage in either flooding or the wind. That'd be awful to be flooded, you know. Gee, when you have that mud and silt and probably sewage and everything else in your house, it would be terrible, especially this time. You know, everybody's getting ready for Christmas. Okay, back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. And get a quick ID here. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's go to Port Angeles to Lee, N7KC.
Okay, first thing to pop up is my call sign. That's always encouraging. And right behind it is the video. Well, there you go. Well, good evening again from Lee and 7KC in Port Angeles. Yeah, okay. Well, Dave, here's the winning ticket. Sorry to report this to you, but here's the winning ticket for tonight. Wouldn't that be something to win? What is it? It's over $1 billion now. You know, some crazy 1,250,000,000 or something like that. It's just nuts. So, but it would be fun to win it. You know, what the heck. And when it gets up to these places, I'll put out a couple of bucks. You know, you got to have some skin in the game if you're going to have a chance. And the odds are so terrible that one ticket is plenty. You know, so I don't spend a lot of money on it, and we just hope for the best. Ah, yes. Well, I don't remember, Ron, the details on the hood, but it was a lovely car. He was a Mustang owner from practically the time they first made one. Bob, congratulations. That sounds great. Uh, yeah, that's I don't know. That's pretty exciting, actually, isn't it? You know, you've had one impediment after another, but finally it looks like you're on top of it. It's a good show. Wind-wise, Paula's sister-in-law lives south of Oak Harbor on West Beach Road, and her house, which is a three-story house, is 16 feet from the edge of the bulkhead where the water is, where the edge of the Salish Sea is there. And when you look west, you can see Smith Island way out there. And she had the last big storm that went through. It cost her $100,000 to fix her house. And last night she reported to Paula that the wind was, she still doesn't have her internet back, but the wind was so loud and noisy. And there was water going over a three-story, it's a big place. There was water going over the house and a river on either side of it that was being blown. And so she moved to the top floor so that if a common problem there is that the logs get picked up and pitched right through the houses on the water side, on the west side. And so she and her cat or two moved to the top floor so that they wouldn't get injured if a log came through. Anyway, it's just nuts. And it's gotten worse just in the last couple or 3 years. So there's something going on. Anyway, with that, I'm going to pull out now, but it's been fun to see you guys. And let's see, we're Wednesday night. Maybe I don't know what's coming up. We're getting pretty close. We kind of stay pretty close to home, but there's a lot going on here, and we try to do as much as we can. So anyway, with that, Dave, I'll send it back to you, and I'll say season's greetings to the rest of you guys, and we'll see you soon. This is N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles.
Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, well, hello again. Well, I know Lee's gone, but I'm going to comment on something he was talking about with his sister-in-law, I think. It's Paula's sister. When I first went up to Coopville some years ago and was thinking about moving to that area, the western side was very appealing to me because you've got that view out of the straits. And the people that I was visiting that lived there, and the husband grew up around Coopville, said, "Oh no, you don't want to live there." No, because like Lee said, the houses take a battering, and it's not just with storms. You know, they're constantly getting that wind and the salt spray, and I mean, houses that are 20 years old look like they're 120 years old and dilapidated. You know, it's just it will just ruin a home. So yeah, I'm very happy to have a hill between me and the west side of the island, but I'm not far from the west side. There's a Joseph Whidbey State Park, which is just a day-use state park nearby. So there are places around I can go out and visit, and of course Fort Eby and other places too. Let's see. The weather. The flooding. So, first of all, I hadn't heard about levee breaches. That is a pretty scary thing. But I'm up on the Skagit River here, and that was one of the worst ones for flooding. I don't know where it is right now, but I do know that they've still got part of this park that I'm staying at, Raysar State Park, which I've stayed at before. Is part of it's closed. There's a upper area where the camping is, where I am, and then you go down and there's kind of a flat area. It's still pretty well above the water. I'd say a good, at least 10 feet above the water. And they were getting flooding there, so that was all closed. That whole area down below was closed. and it still is, I believe, but I'm going to go check it out tomorrow, weather permitting. And I saw like flooded farmland driving out here. I'm on Highway 20, the North Cascades Highway, just short of Concrete. And so I saw a fair amount of flooding on the way. I did not get a chance to see the river directly, so I don't know where it is. Carlos, that AI picture's hilarious. AI can do a lot these days. One of the more disturbing things is watching YouTube videos about like news events and not realizing until partway through that it's AI, because one little thing that just gets wrong, that it's a mistake that no person would make. But up till that point, it all sounds perfectly natural. It's pretty weird. So I guess that's it for the moment. I thought of actually going to check out my place, how the flooding might have affected there. It's pretty flat there, but it's on a mild slope, and so I have a feeling that the water was able to run off okay. It wouldn't have collected there. Certainly there is it's like I said, it's on a mild slope, and it would just run out the back, but it could have had some local water problems because of it. I drove through Oak Harbor today, and I kind of considered going by there, but I was pulling the trailer, and I kind of just wanted to get to my destination, and that's what I did. I felt like I had one more thing. I can't think of it, but I guess I'll just say 73, it probably won't come back around to me, and good talking to you all tonight. This is K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks with that. Let's pick up Richard, K7ITX.
Yeah, that is pretty clever of Copilot to be able to put your signing together like that, Bob. that brought a smile to my face. And actually, pardon me for a second. I'm gonna sneeze or cough or something. Wow. surprisingly, I did both. So anyway, yeah, I guess I should point out that here at the Northwest Kidney Center, we've actually had, I call them refugees. I say refugees because they've come to, I mean, they're not really refugees. They've been reassigned to where I'm at because of floodwater issues in Auburn, Kent, and Tukwila, and Renton for that matter. We had the levee breach in Tukwila, which got them all excited in Renton, which was nearby. And then for days straight, we've had Highway 167 northbound closed, and southbound not so much, but northbound, well, of course, then that ties up 132nd Avenue Southeast by where I live. That runs between Highway 18 and the Maple Valley Highway. A lot of people that normally would take 167 are using my neighborhood. Well, I won't call it my neighborhood because it's a thoroughfare, but they're using this thoroughfare as the way around the 167 northbound closure. So thankfully, it hasn't bothered me at all. But we'll see how that turns out. And last but not least, I'm looking forward to the Seattle Seahawks tomorrow night playing the Los Angeles Rams. So that should be pretty exciting. This is K7ITX. Back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks with that. Now let's go pick up Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Jim, thank you for volunteering at the EOC. I don't know what's going to happen Friday. I saw that originally the flood watch was supposed to end on Wednesday, and then they changed it to Thursday, then they changed it to Friday, and I just saw something on the news that possible flooding expected on Saturday. So I don't know what's going to happen here. Don't know what you're in for. We'll see what happens with this next bunch of rain. But thank you for helping people out. Carlos, that is an excellent likeness of Bob signing that contract. Wow, I'm just thinking of all of the movie actors, professional actors out there who maybe could be replaced by some computer likeness. This is somewhat frightening. Wow. Dave, Costco enchiladas. Yeah, medium heat. That sounds just like what I would want. My wife, unfortunately, likes things bland, so she would not be likely to buy any of that stuff. And a big problem with Costco is frequently it's just too much stuff for one of us to eat. Need more freezer space or something. Ron, Amazon. Yeah, I have found also that the Amazon products are frequently delivered rather promptly. One of my neighbors, in the morning, typically what happens, his wife says, "Honey, we need to get more diapers." And So he will run off to work, order diapers from Amazon, and when he gets home from work in the evening, there's a box of diapers sitting on his front porch. And I don't know, it seems like he doesn't let his wife in on the secret. She could have gone out there hours earlier and got them, but I guess he gets credit for doing a good job. Rather sneaky, if I have to say so myself. Lee, I saw your lottery ticket. That's one of the few pictures that I saw. That's great. Yeah, my wife buys a lottery ticket every now and then. She doesn't really tell me about it, but it would not surprise me if she bought one for this go-around. And, boy, $100,000 damage to a house, that's pretty bad. And I agree completely. The weather has gotten worse in recent years. I guess it may continue to worsen. Oh, well. Bob, I think that's a good idea to go check out your new digs for flooding or any other damage that might be around there. Don't know how inconvenient it is for you to go do that, but this may be a rare opportunity to do that. Just food for thought. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, let's go to James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
Oh, WU7N here. I'm going to try one more time to see if I can get an image going here. So stand by one, please. And I'm going live now.
Okay, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing. All right, I'm on the air. Well, Carlos, I am impressed with those two pictures, and I was curious to know if you make them on your phone, and that's why it was easy to copy them into the text stream, or did you use some other method to get into the text stream? I'm kind of disappointed. It used to be there was a very easy way to use mail gateways if you wanted to send an email that would become a text or a text that would become an email. But I guess those were primarily being used by fraud people. So I believe AT&T and Verizon, all those people killed it. And I found out there's, I think, some services you can pay for that can do that. But I haven't investigated that. So kind of curious to know how you made the picture on Copilot, but where did you make it? Was it on your phone you made it or on the computer you made it? Don't know if we'll have time to get an answer to that question because just a couple minutes left. Let's see. AI, Jim. AI is not just a big concern in the entertainment industry for actors, but writers. This was, I think, one of the big deals in the last actors or the last Writers Guild strike. And my sister, who's a writer, there's concern about is there going to be any human-generated content? And if so, if it does all go to AI, who exactly gets the big bucks for all that? Like, for example, if I want to write a story just like Hemingway or something, and I write one, does the AI, company get it or what? I mean, there's all kinds of legal questions hanging out there about that. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a short one. We have a minute left. I'm kind of curious if Carlos can tell us how you generate, which platform you generate the image on, then how you got the image to the text stream. So let me turn it over.
WU7N, thanks with that.
Dave, KD7ZYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. broadcasting in digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. So with that, we'll bring the net to an end and close it up at 9 o'clock. This is, again, the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. Again, I'm Dave, KD7ZYM, terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening, all.
Can't we continue with the net and let Carlos get in? I mean, no one's going to get after
Node
it. We own the net.
4.
We own the repeater.
4.
It's our
2,
clubs.
7. 2. Disconnected.
Carlos, I think that Ron used an auto pen and signed us back on. So it's yours.
That is very good, Ron. Thank you for extending the net. So just to answer on James' question, no, I just use it was just on the browser using the Copilot on any Windows PC, so you can tell it to, and I think this is the free tier that allows you to generate that. And then even for the second one that I generated, which I also sent on the text message, was just kind of the Ford Mustang with the stolen hood, was also just generated. The one that I'm sending right now, because you folks were mentioning about generating videos, so the one that you can see on the image right now is the Sora platform from OpenAI. And basically this one kind of captures, you do it on the phone, it captures your face, and then you give it a prompt. On this case, you see the prompt there. I say, it's myself piloting a Cessna plane over the Tagus River in Lisbon. And so I'm not putting the sound now, but that's what it generated, so which is quite realistic. So a lot of these platforms, we all have to be careful about how we control kind of the information that flows into these systems, because as you all mentioned, absolutely, the video generation, photo generation, kind of all these images are all over. There are some quite comedic scenes where there's some popular on YouTube where people play TV series of cartoons of the real people instead of the real people, but absolutely. I mean, we're getting into an era where it's going to be very difficult to distinguish reality from AI fiction, and now everyone can produce it. So that's quite impressive. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Family is calling me out for finally dinner, and it's great to have you all on the net, and great to see you all, and I'll be back on Saturday. Thank you so much. 87 NP in Clydesdale.
2. Disconnected.
KD7ZYM clear.
WU7N shutting down.